If you want to lower your blood sugar without any changes in nutrition or medications, then this video is for you. Because in this video, we're going to talk about, can strength training lower your blood sugar levels? We're also going to discuss the ways in which strength training can lower your blood sugar levels. After that, we'll address the most common exercises and the best exercises that you specifically can do in order to reverse your type 2 diabetes. And it's not enough to just know the exercises, you need to know how to do them. In other words, how many days per week, how many repetitions, how many sets, at what intensity. We're going to cover all of that. And we're going to discuss whether you should be doing full body workouts or body part splits. And finally, let's tell you about one of our clients who we've actually helped reverse her type 2 diabetes, even though she's been a type 2 diabetic for 16 years and it ran in her family. Before we jump in, who am I to even be telling you about this? My name is Igor. I'm the author of the Amazon best-selling book called Type 2 Diabetes Reversal Secrets. As well, I've been a personal trainer since 2006, and I run an online personal training company that specializes in helping type 2 diabetics reverse their diabetes. So first of all, let's talk about, can strength training help you reverse your type 2 diabetes? And the answer is yes. This is fairly conclusive, and in one study where participants did do strength training for 4 months, in that period of time, their HbA1c dropped by 1.1%, which is on par with the best blood sugar medications out there. And that was without any changes in nutrition, supplements, medications, or anything else. That was strength training by itself. Pretty cool. Now, we know that it works, but how does it work? There are two potential mechanisms. Mechanism number one is called glucose disposal. That is, by working muscle, the fuel for working muscle is glucose or glycogen, which is blood sugar. So you're using up sugar in order to fuel muscular activity, thereby getting it out of the blood and into the muscle. That is mechanism number one. Mechanism number two, by which strength training can help you lower your blood sugar levels, is called glycogen storage. What is that? Glycogen is the plural word for glucose. In other words, many glucose molecules make up glycogen. And so we have a certain storage capacity for sugar. In the liver, we can hold about 90 grams of sugar. However, in our muscles, we can hold approximately 350 grams of sugar. In other words, if the muscles atrophy, if you lose them, you can't store as much sugar, so it stays in the blood and doesn't go to the muscles. By increasing the size of the muscle, you can actually increase the storage capacity for sugar, and that's another mechanism by which you can lower your blood sugar levels or your A1C. So we know that strength training works. We also know how does it work, but what do we actually do? What are the exercises to do in order to help you lower your blood sugar levels? In no particular order, you want to be doing full body workouts. So we know that strength training works, we know how it works, but what specific exercises do we want to be doing? Well, here is a list of 8 of the most common exercises or exercise groups that I'll often use with my diabetic clients to help them reverse their diabetes. Number one is deadlifts. Deadlifts work the muscles of the hamstrings, that's the back of the thighs, the glutes, the buttocks, and the lower back. That's one category. The other category is what I call knee dominant exercises. And an example of that is squats. Squats work primarily the quadriceps, the hamstrings, and the glutes. Another category of exercises is vertical pulls, like lat pull downs. And those work the muscles of the biceps, the front of the arm, as well as the lats, the side of the back. Another category is vertical push, like an overhead press. And that works the opposite muscles. It works the shoulders and the triceps. Another category is now a horizontal pull, like a seated row or a bent over row. And that works the muscles of the biceps and the muscles between the shoulder blades called the rhomboids, which are very good for your posture. And yet another category is a horizontal push. Horizontal is relative to your body, not necessarily to the world. So for example, push-ups, whether you're actually doing them on the floor or you're doing incline push-ups, like against a table, a chair, stairs, etc. That's another category. And that works the muscles of the chest, the pectorals, the front of the shoulder, the deltoids, and the back of the arm, the triceps. Another category that I use is calf raises, some variation of an exercise that works the calves. And there are two major muscles in the calves, so if you do it with a straight knee, it works one group of muscles, and if you were to do it with a bent knee, it works a different group of muscles. You could do both. And the last category is some kind of abdominal exercise like leg raises. If you want demos of all of these exercises in other videos, many of these exercises I've already recorded videos on them, and those are included in the description below. And keep watching, and we're going to talk about one specific client that use this kind of program to help them reverse their type 2 diabetes. Now, you're wondering, these are all the exercises, but should I do them all in one workout? Or should I pick a day and do just certain body parts? The best thing to do for type 2 diabetes is to just do full body workouts. Why is that? Why is there a superiority to full body workouts over body part splits? Because only the muscles that get worked become insulin sensitive, and that only lasts for about 2 to 3 days. In other words, if you have a day when you're doing chest and back, your chest and back will be insulin sensitive for the next 2 or 3 days, but insulin resistant for the next 3 to 5 days. So that's no good. You want to be insulin sensitive all the time. So it's better to do full body workouts 2 to 3 times per week than body part splits once or twice per week. So that's hopefully that clears that up. Now, we know which exercises to do, but how do we do them? As they say, the devil is in the details. You want to know the number of sets, the number of repetitions, the number of times per week, and how hard you should do it. So let's discuss all that right here. In research, where people do twice per week versus 3 times per week, the group that does twice per week or less, their HbA1c drops by less than 0.4%, which is not great. However, the jump from 2 times per week to 3 times per week, their A1c drops by 1.1%, so much more favorable. So the exercise prescription is 3 times per week for strength training. You can do other stuff for cardio, but 3 times per week for strength training. What about the number of sets? You know the exercises, should you do them once? Should you do them 5 times, 10 times, and there's something else? It's very, very important to do them 3 times or more, 3 sets, in other words. In research that has people doing 2 sets or less, their HbA1c drops by 0.3%, which is barely anything above not doing anything. Now, it will improve your strength, it'll have other benefits, but it won't reverse your diabetes. So 3 sets or more are just what a doctor ordered. What about the number of repetitions? Should you do low repetitions like less than 8? Should you do high repetitions like over 15? Or should you do medium repetitions, 8 to 15? Research shows that for type 2 diabetes, 8 to 15 is superior. Now, low repetitions are better for building strength, higher repetitions are better for building endurance, but those are nice side effects of what we're going after. We're going after diabetes reversal. For that purpose, you're going to be doing 8 to 15 repetitions. How hard do you need to work? This is one of the most common missing elements in diabetic exercise programs, and that is a lack of intensity. Now, it doesn't mean you need to lift heavy weights, you just need to lift it close enough to muscular failure. In other words, if you're doing repetitions, at the end of the 8 to 15 repetitions, you have to ask yourself, how many more repetitions could I have done? The answer should only be 1 or 2 more. If you think you could have done 3 or more repetitions, the resistance is too low, the weight is too light, so increase it. Now, if you think I couldn't have done any more, that might be too difficult. So that's the key to making exercise for diabetes work, and that is intensity in combination with all the other elements like your sets, your repetitions, your frequency, and the actual exercises worked. Now, if you implement this, what can you expect? Generally speaking, you can see a lowering of your HbA1c by somewhere between 1.0 and 1.5% in a matter of 3 months. And here's a case study of one of our clients, Mandy, who will be linked in the description below, which we've written a full case study article about her. So here's Mandy's case study. When Mandy came to us, she was 63 years old. She had already been a type diabetic for 16 years before she came to see us. It ran in her family. Her brother had it, her parents had it, etc. And she tried all the common things like medications, and that worked for the first 6 months until it stopped working. And her doctor had to increase the dose up and up and up until he reached the maximal dose, and even that wasn't working anymore. She tried other medications, different diets, etc. And nothing really worked long term. Everything worked in the short term, 6 months or less, but nothing really worked long term. She wanted to drop her blood sugar levels and keep them down at a healthy range. And so once she started strength training, in the first week, her blood sugar dropped into almost the hypoglycemic range, the low blood sugar range. So she reduced the dose of one of her medications herself. We didn't tell her to reduce the dose, we're not allowed to, but she reduced it herself because she felt that the strength training was causing her blood sugar to drop too much while she was on medications. When she went to see her doctor, he said, yes, you did the right thing based on what you're doing now. This is the right dose. Over time, she was able to get her A1C from about 7.2 down to the 6.1 to 6.2 range. So quite significant, and she was able to get off a lot of her medications. In addition to that, all the other benefits of strength training came as well, like, well, the obvious, which is improved strength, but also improved endurance, easier climbing up the stairs, and more. So this is just an illustration of the power of strength training without even changes in nutrition, supplementation, medications, etc. I hope you liked this video. If you did, click like and subscribe. That will help you be notified when I publish more videos on type 2 diabetes, and it'll help other diabetics learn of this video to be able to help them reverse their diabetes. Thank you and goodbye.